Hi, everyone, and welcome back and to tuning into our podcast today. We had a moment just before we started recording where we were like, what do we actually want to talk about? And we felt inside our body, and my body was like all sparkles of like, talk about inspirations, talk about magic and mystery. So that's where we're going. We're talking about magic and mystery. And as it so often is when we talk about magic and mystery, we actually have no clue where it is going right now, which is always fun. So bear with us. It will go somewhere and it will be quite magical. And anyway, I think for me, why I would say my body, my higher self, it was just a full body yes, is coming up with that topic is because right now I am in a place where I feel like it's a magical vortex just by itself. And I'm really happy to also break down the magic into the nitty-gritty as well as rise it up into the bigness. Like just to see all angles of what magic actually can be, like the magical connections we can have on a daily basis with people around us, as well as also all the amazing things Desi is working with, which I'm sure she will tie it in as well. So I think one topic I would want to bring in is I'm sure you all have, or most of us have experienced moments like that. And if you haven't, then bring awareness to it, and most like you have. It's these moments where you meet people on the street and you just feel an instant connection with them, right? So for me, this is often like the synchronicities have in life. They're quite magical, I think. And we can use different words for that, obviously. And I feel like here in the place where I'm at, it's filled with these magical synchronized connections. There's just people popping up from different places in your life. People you've seen 10 years ago, 3 years ago, completely different space. Suddenly they're standing in front of you. And both of you are just like, what are you doing here? Yeah, what are you doing here? And it continuously happens. And then it happens as well. Like, I don't know how many people we are here, maybe 1,000, but there will be people you run into every single day. You will sit at the restaurant, they're sitting at the table next to you. You will cross the street, they will cross the street in front of you. It's like synchronicities that like that, where you like, this cannot be normal. It sometimes really feels being in a place outside of time and space, where time and space doesn't matter, and it's just about you need to meet because there is something to learn. You need to meet because your bodies, your soul are here to get a transmission from each other, like transmission frequency, learnings, teachings, words. And this can be really simple. And often what happens as well is once you have learned that, you will suddenly not meet this person anymore. It's like insane. So here everything is accelerated and it's more intensified. Like for me, and as well, most likely for you as well, it happens in your daily life. But here it just happens multiple times a day, or it happens in such an intensity where you really can't look away. You have to take over. I have something in my eye. I need to take care of that for a second.
Okay. Okay. So we just took a second to sort out the eye situation and we're back. I was saying that I loved that you actually said, we could call it many different things. Because as you were speaking, I was hearing demystify the word magic, because I feel like we have been um, yeah, we've been made to forget that we are magic, that we are this energy that can move energy, that can create energy, that can manifest. And it's all energy in motion, right? So um yeah, it can be synchronicity. You also use the word synchronicity, not just magic. In fact, I like to actually write the word magic with a K at the end. I'm kind of reclaiming that myself. But yeah, as you said, it is a part of the of day-to-day life, especially when you drop into the remembrance of how magic we are. We start to see life instead of, in my case, I don't call them a series of synchronicities anymore because I don't think anything is coincidence. And I think that there's a fine line in what I define as a synchronicity because I think that we're manifesting. We're manifesting constantly. We are orchestrating even the signs that we are asking to see so that we as the humans can give ourselves permission to go down that certain path. But I loved that you actually brought this into us coming into proximity with people and engaging with people. You remember my wonderful brother Cruzo, we went to dinner last summer. I was talking at the Way Festival last October, and I hadn't told him that I was going to be there. He had no idea. I had no idea he was going, and it turns out that he turned up to see me. We ended up just finding each other there, and I did recognize that. I did feel like I needed that. I needed a little bit of support. It was my first festival solo. So it was like, and there was my brother who was there for that support, right? And then also as you were speaking, it came to me just like, when you said when the lesson is over, then we also vibe apart. I find that this happens also with a lot of people in my close proximity. Like for example, I have a sister that we definitely come back together and then we go apart depending on what parts of our paths that we are on, right? We always come together at a moment where it's like, okay, we have a next step to take together, and then we go off and we do our own work, and then we come back together. And so, yeah, it's really for that transmission, like you said. I love that you used that word because I do believe that. You know that I believe that we are all medicine and that we will require each other's medicine also. So I think that that's one of the biggest reasons that I've found behind that encountering each other because this wonderful brother that I'm speaking of, for example, is one of the most stable and prominent masculine presences in my life. And so for him to have shown up at the festival, that was like, yes, that was divine orchestration. We orchestrated that. It wasn't just, oh, happy go lucky. But yeah, I'm very intrigued where else you're going to take this because I will say that when you said magic and mysteries, I was like, where are we going with this? But okay, I'm in for the ride. So it's a good one, Jen.
It is a good one, definitely. And I want to say here what just happened when we had to cut the recording is my left eye started hurting so much. I wear contact lenses that I had to take it out. I was like from 1 second to another in like severe pain, and I didn't manage to put it back in. So basically, what we're having here is I'm not seeing everything is blurry on my left eye, and my right eye sees everything sharp and clear. And it's also my left eye is the one that actually sees less well than my right eye. So right now, I feel like while we spoke about these topics, I got a bit into a fear because it's like, wow, how am I speaking about magic and mysteries in public when it's such a still frowned upon subject? And a lot of people are misunderstanding it. Whereas for me, like you so beautifully said, magic is just the base of existence. And I think if we're going a little bit into like quantum physics or cosmology, probably like and now the words are missing, but our universe is made up of so many materials, and a lot of it we actually don't know. So the in between of that which we don't know for me is what I call magic. So you can use whatever word because it's frequencies, it's vibrations, it's energies, and so many more words that we can use. And I live and breathe these energies, these in-betweens. I live and breathe it. And a lot of it for me is recognizing the magical moments in my life, being aware of that, inviting them in, very important. And a lot of it is also, I realized just while you were speaking, I was like, wait, for me to really feel the magic moments, I need stillness. And in the stillness, you hear, you feel things around you that your senses most likely don't recognize. So that was very interesting. It's just a little download. And regarding people, what I also wanted to share here is that since I have been here, I told you this is a really powerful place. So for me, like lately, I call it a vortex that either goes upwards or downwards, a spiral. And I've been a lot in the downward spiral. Like my phone broke. I lost my bank card. It was just like a lot of intense things happened. Um, and recurrently during that time, every time a friend left, a new friend came, and they always had the same frequency. They're the feminine that are taking life very light and are more like fun and pleasure filled. And they also have a lot of luck in their life. So, what has the universe taught me is in this heaviness, Jenny, stay true to the pleasure and fun. You are supported by having feminine friends around you that are colorful and bubbly and wear a lot of jewelry and wear a lot of glitter and just show up and are powerful in their feminine glow. That has been really interesting for me to observe that this happens. And for me, this is, yes, like you said, we orchestrated everything before we actually incarnated in our bodies. So most likely my soul knew, okay, you are coming to a point where it's going to be tough and you really need to learn to embrace the lightness in your life. So it created these magical moments that I'm now enduring. But because I don't remember it, it feels like magic for me right now. And
Mm,
it feels just like this, yeah, like you say, it just feels divine. And I see the beauty in it, and I see the learnings and the lessons um quite immediately. I would say it used to take me years, and now it takes me a couple of days, and I'm like, wait a second, there is something. Um and yeah, I feel actually really honored that a lot of these things are happening in my life and that I am being aware of it, you know? Yeah.
mm. I understand where you're coming from with that one. I think, I mean, when you mentioned, these beautiful women that are surrounding you and that they're like very in their pleasure and very playful, um, I think you use the word luck, and I don't feel like it's luck. I feel like this is something that we also forget as women. Our feminine energy is essentially radiant, but at the same time magnetizing. And when we truly drop into that, we are really provided for by source, by that divine heavenly father that we all have, as well as our divine mother. We allow ourselves to be provided for. When we drop into that, manifestations, call it magic, but they happen like this. And I really feel like it has to do with, doing, I mean, yes, let's keep spinning the wheel. It's about shadow work. It's about authenticity. It's about knowing your truth. It's about going through the layers, but really dropping into that feminine, allowing yourself to be provided for. It's amazing. Choosing myself was a big turning point. You know this. I chose myself in one of the biggest ways ever. What was it, 4 months ago, 5 months ago? And ever since then, it's like divine union, manifested the house, manifested the dream job, manifested absolutely everything. And like you said, it's happening really quickly lately. I have been on this path for quite a long time. And while I have always considered myself quite a quick integrator, it is true that witnessing layers, you do realize that you are integrating quickly different layers of things. But the way that things are actually, yeah, there's not a better word, manifesting themselves into reality at the moment, I feel like definitely there's been an acceleration in the quantum field for sure. And I think that that is the more that we connect to our truth. I think that this is like, I don't know, maybe I go off topic a little bit, but we could also call it magic. This manifestation, this learning what manifestation is really about. It's about the becoming. It's not about the sitting, hoping, wishing, dreaming. It's about putting yourself on that frequency. And it's not just mentalizing yourself that you're on that frequency, which is, I think, where a lot of guides or teachers go a little bit wrong, because not everybody works on the same way, if that makes sense. And so a lot of people are left like, yeah, but that one doesn't work for me, because you can't really trick your psyche into, I mean, if you're living in a tent, you can't trick yourself into the fact that you're living in a villa in Tuscany. Do you know what I mean? Um, and that's what a lot of people try to teach you to do. It's about putting yourself on that frequency. It's about the present. I loved what you said about, you find all the magic in the stillness, because it's more about that presence, that mindfulness, that absolutely everything is sacred. And so, with that knowledge that everything is sacred, with that feeling behind it, how could you not feel that absolutely everything that happens for you is magic? Even what one would consider bad things, we realize from this place that it all happens for, not to. And so, you actually embrace even the negative as wonderful magic. I think that that's really powerful. I think it's all mindset, though.
For sure, 100%. I agree. I think that is really important to have these differentiations that you just created of like, yes, there is a certain kind of trust, and there's also a certain kind of having to show up and do the work, right? For me, what is also tying into all of it is, and apparently magic and mystery are connected, which they are, is this um really importance for especially as feminine, but actually as a whole society and the whole planet, is to drop into the mystery. And to drop into the mystery for me holds a lot of trust. I need to trust that things are coming, that things will work out. But I agree with you, we can't just drop into the mystery. It's like you want to win the lottery, but you never buy a lottery ticket. That
Exactly.
is silly. That is dumb. Sorry if I have to say that. If you want to win the lottery and you never play the lottery, that's not going to work. So you can drop into the mystery as much as you want. You're not going to win it most likely, except if you're like this 0.001% person that actually then finds a lottery ticket just somewhere randomly on the street. But that is really rare. So that's the same of like doing the work and looking at your t subjects, but then eventually dropping into the mystery is really important. So if we are trying, I like that you brought up the topic of manifesting, and I think it's actually more your area of speciality, but we are here to cross the bridges between your speciality and mine. Um, it is very much needed. You know about that. If we want to manifest something or we want to bring something into our life, we actually, after speaking it out to the universe, to the gods, to whatever, we have to let it go. And that is dropping into the mystery.
Mm.
And that is something where our world is really bad at. We're constantly in drive mode, in control mode, in having to do. And I personally realized that my whole being, my body, is craving for to bring the magic and the mystery into normal world, into normal society. So I also need to lead by example. And I see myself often nowadays, not nowadays, I still see myself often a little bit stuck in the control because this is what I got taught as a child. And then how it's like a lot of breaking through everything that I learned to actually come to the point where I want to flourish and work from, which is working from the mystery, from the feminine energy, from the power of like yesterday. I had this moment. I like making examples where I had a phone call and I was lying in like a cafe having a cacao next to me, and we were talking about money and like how to accumulate money or get money and everything. And I was like, actually, it's so dumb to continuously think about that. Like if I'm just living in this moment and I'm saying like it's 2 in the afternoon, I'm lying on a couch in a cafe, I'm having a cacao next to me, I'm having a gorgeous, amazing phone call, and in the background they are playing 90s and early 2000s dance music, which brings me just in a high vibe. And I'm like, wait, I'm actually already living it. What more do I want?
Mm.
Why do we need to have 10,000s on our bank account when actually whatever I have right now allows me to live a life like this? And this is for me trusting in the mystery and realizing that everything we want is already there.
Yeah.
And this for me, I can only speak about myself. I'll give you the mic in a second. Is that this is the key for me right now to realize, bring the awareness into the present moment and realize how much I already have, how filled with magic my life is, how filled with pleasure and fun and everything my life is, and that I can just drop more into this mystery and just enjoy it. I think that is definitely the message. The biggest message I came to this land, that this land is teaching me right now, is that. And I've had to go through the underworld to come back out the other side and realize, ooh, I've actually been there all my life, and or all, not all my life. Yeah, kind of all my life. And I just needed to realize it.
Mm. Mm. Okay.
Yeah.
Definitely. A lot came through while you're speaking. Um, I think where I'll start is the we were talking about manifestation, and what came to me was we need to continue to demystify the word magic, because I feel like or what I'm getting is that magic is a word that separates us from our own power. Magic is a word that put all of the power outside of us, just like venerating one God from the Bible puts all of the God self outside of us, like we are not creator beings. That's just it. We are creator beings. And so if we recognize that we are God selves, we are magic, then we don't put it outside of ourselves. And so that is actually what brings you to, hang on a second, wherever I am, whoever I'm with, if I make the most of it and I enjoy it because I'm in the present moment, it is magic. Magic surrounds me all day. Um,
I am. I
Sarah,
am magic. I am magic, like you said it.
exactly. I am magic. That's exactly.
Yeah.
The more that we remember that we are magic, magic happens for us because that's what we're immersed in. If you're immersed in the present moment of everything is freaking wonderful and how grateful I am that, oh, it might be raining and I can't go for a long walk with the dog, but hey, wait a second, the area closest to the house, it's covered, so we can still go for a walk. That is magic. I live in an area where I can walk the dog even if it's raining. Do you know what I mean? That little bit of gratitude that I really, just going back to what I said before, I really think that it's mindset. I really think that it's about, yeah, observing everything that you are and that you have. And even when we go through those lower points or those moments where the human would think, oh, how negative is this? Or I wish life was a different way. If we can actually switch the chip and think, well, maybe I went through a period of I wouldn't say lack, maybe scarcity. First of all, there's probably a scarcity mindset that you need to heal. Let's start there. But also, maybe what I'm being taught is to really appreciate the little because I'm going to have so much one day that I need to really understand the value of everything that I have. And that way, we also don't become another generation of wealthy people that hoard it for themselves. We actually become heart-led, what's the word I'm looking for? Altruists. When you become altruistic with your money and you help others. I think that I know that there's a lot of us in our field that we start from very little and we really take big leaps of faith and we put ourselves all out there despite our witch wounds or our scarcity blocks or the lineage stuff or the witch wounds or the visibility blocks. I think I said witch wound twice, forgive. But yeah, we continue to put ourselves out there and we do go through, working on our value, our self-worth, a lot of us, where we're like, why isn't it working for a little while, And I think that that's where we actually also realize and we reestablish that what we're doing is not for the money. What we are doing is for our purpose. It's for our service. It's in devotion to everything because that's the point of transcendentalism. When you realize that you are me, I am you, I am my neighbor, that I am also my dog, and it's like we realize that we're not doing it for us and we're not doing it for anyone outside of us. We're doing it for the soul, SOLE, soul that we are, And so when you put that kind of switch on, I think that things definitely change and they just start to, like you said, just magnetizing, like we said before, magnetizing to us.
Hmm.
And it's so much easier for us because we are predominantly feminine in these beautiful female bodies that we have. And so our predominant energy is usually the feminine. We do find women that have a predominant masculine. Um, but again, I feel like that's a whole nother topic. I might go on a tangent again. But the polarity that we represent physically. I do think it's our primary, but again, we are that balance. And so I think it also has a lot to do with that balance. When you're balanced your inner polarities and when you've balanced all of your chakras and you feel safe and you feel held and you feel loved and you feel that you can speak. And I think like having all of your channels open, harmonized, balanced. Um, I'm not meaning to say that right now I am an amazing being that has no more path to cover. Of course I do. I'm still embarking on this divine union with this wonderful house that we've just bought. Um, but yeah, it's I think it's about trying to continuously just find your center, stay in the neutral, but stay in the neutral from that point of how wonderful is this experience.
Hmm. Yeah, I love that. Thank you for taking it in that direction because I think that's all tied in. We don't always need to use the words, but it's all tied in and connected with each other. I think for me, I got a bit lost my thoughts got lost while I was listening. My thoughts got lost in the whole topic of, yes, it is actually really important to define what magic is.
Mm.
Um, and to break it down because I think there is so much out there that is the word bullshit is coming up. That is bullshit and taking it into extremes. There is also a lot of what is it? Wrong understandings, definitely cringeworthy
Blanket statements.
yeah, like around it. Whereas for me personally, it's just everywhere. And it's just a word that I use to explain my existence and what I experience in my surrounding. And I think that's why I interchanged word magic with energy and frequencies and vibration. I think for frequencies, it has been one of my favorites at the moment. And for me, it's also like very, very clear in the next 5 to 10 years, this word will be, or this topic, it will be scientifically proven. Like it's so funny. I think you and me, we have an understanding of a lot of things out there in the world, which science hasn't managed to yet prove because they're using instruments and microscopes and everything else to try and prove and explain things. Whereas it's like you don't need to explain it with the mind. Just sit still, close your eyes, and you know what we're talking about. And definitely what's coming up for me is like we and especially I don't know why I'm going into quantum physics so much here, but quantum physics actually touches magic. That's where they intertwine and overlap, and that's why I'm a big fan of quantum physics because you there is actually saying quantum physicists, the more they go into their field, the more they actually start believing in spirituality because they realize that the deeper you dive, a lot cannot be explained. There is particles that if you observe them, they react differently than if you don't observe them. There is things that once they hit a target, they rechange the history. So they going through time and space backwards, and I mean, I think I need to make an example here. I realize it. So it's basically you can just imagine a white dot that travels to a canvas, and once it touches the canvas, the white dot will be pink because it touches a splotch of color and becomes tint pink. So if I now go back with my camera to the recording to the beginning, the dot it was pink in the beginning. How fucking insane is that? They don't know why it does that. I try to explain it in a really simple way here, but this for me is magic and energy. Yeah, you're getting it attached up there. You're like, what the hell did you just say? Tell me.
Question, is this like that phenomena that they keep saying, like they'll have different groups of people and someone will remember that a logo had a specific color or
Yeah.
something, and but then some other group of people think no, it wasn't like I think it's like Fruit of the Loom. There's this brand I think that forever it's had always fruit, but some of us, I include myself, remember it with one of these woven cone kind of baskets. And then there are lots of people that don't remember that. Is that linked to what you're saying, or am I just joining things that have no relation?
I think they're touching each other. It's called the Mandela effect. So there's a lot of people out there that actually think Mandela died when he was in prison, which is that it isn't. It didn't. There is also, I think, Pikachu. A lot of people, including me, remember Pikachu having like a brown tip at the tail, which he doesn't. He never had. So we recreate history. So imagine how many times that has happened. There is this experiment in I don't know. Is it? No, I don't know. There's an experiment where it's like the thousand, not the 100 monkey experiment, where they observed monkeys on two islands, and one group of monkeys realized that if they washed the fruit, it was more edible. And then suddenly the monkeys on the other island started doing the same behavior. So there is this belief that is also not scientifically proven, but if you're going into quantum physics, you're like, fucking hell, that's clear. That if a certain amount of people learn something, it will just be the knowledge will be transmitted to everyone else. I'm getting goosebumps while I say that. But this is what happens.
That makes a lot of sense because I keep talking about the fact that we tap into collective consciousness. And
Yeah.
so I also, in what I do, I also find independent thought forms. So it's like, for example, I mean, I'm not saying that there is a big fat man in the North Pole, but it's like things actually take form when enough people believe something,
Yeah. Yeah.
even if it takes form just energetically. So that makes a lot of sense what you're saying there.
We are changing the particles around us because everything, like I cannot touch it, but everything around us is made up of matter, invisible or visible. So whatever I think and say, it will change. So, for example, here where I am, I'm talking a lot about a lack of awareness. So
Mhm.
while I say, feel that, and I speak about that, it will go into the energy field. I call that the grid above this place, and it will actually start influencing people. I've lately, last week, I talked a lot about judgment and like observation and judgment and where does it intertwine. I've been now in the third or fourth conversation where people randomly brought up this topic.
Mm,
So just by speaking about something, people will bring that into their awareness 100%. But this is also where manipulation is possible to happen, you know? Like we're going into really intense topics here, but our governments or certain people in our governments know about that being a possibility. So they're steering us through advertisement, through music, through everything. Um, I think even through, yeah, music is frequency and vibration. So they know about that. They know how to make a herd. I heard the word herd. Make a herd of people think the same way and act the same way. We're installing fear. So there is plenty of people out there that know about that phenomena, and most likely there is words for it. And I call it a frequency, vibration, magic, because it's the invisible in between that we are just not able to perceive. I mean, I feel it, I know it, so I know it exists. People that are taking psychedelics often see it as well. If you are working with your third eye, with your clairvoyance, you are being able to see it. So there is plenty of people out there that take advantage of it. So who are we to not be working in the favor of humanity and the planet and society and the animals and everyone on there? Because that's what we're basically doing. With everything that we're speaking here, that's what we're doing. With everything that we do, that's what we're doing.
absolutely. I think that's again, that's just our devotion. Our devotion is to, bringing awareness first to ourselves so that we can understand and integrate and then bring it out. But yeah, I think what you were referring to before was herd mentality, and of course that's a big thing. Um, yeah, it's like I was saying before, I was making reference to the fact that, and I just keep making reference to these things, the things that we've been indoctrinated to believe and to forget about our own power, to relinquish our power. Again, going back to, yeah, even that manifestation, they're telling you that you're literally going to make changes in yourself just by thinking it. We just went on a tangent saying that we manifest or we create realities with our thoughts. And while, yes, that is a thing, we also have to recognize that in the quantum field, things move much quicker. However, in the 3D, things kind of lag a little bit. And even though we are seeing an acceleration right now, I think that we do need to stay level-headed and not forget that it's not just about thinking that. It's about thinking and then putting things into action. You need an action plan for absolutely everything. You need to create that reality. Um, I think that it's not just about people thinking that Pikachu had a brown tip on on his tail. So many people thought it, so many people spoke about it and put so much more energy into it that then it became part of collective consciousness. Um, but yeah, I thought that that was something that we needed to clarify there because first we were saying no, you got to action, it's not just thought, and then we're saying no, no, but thought is a thing. So yeah, I think there are fine lines and like you said, quantum physics is also one of it's a big one for me, and also that transcendentalism, and I do see the interconnectedness of everything, and I think that the basis and the foundation is first of all just recognizing what you are. I'm not saying who. I'm not asking about your authenticity. I'm saying recognize what you are. Because what we are is so much bigger than they allow us to remember that we are.
Mhm. For sure. 100%. 100%. And I think those are all topics that are like I see it like branching out from the topic we started with. They're all intertwined with it, and it's just like to show the multitude of angles this actually goes. And we didn't even tap into the normal way the word magic is used. I mean, often it's used for the like Harry Potter is the only thing that comes up right now, or the whole witch movies and TV shows, and I love that. But in my understanding, or I wanted to bring like a really tangible understanding of what it is. Of like, first of all, it's everywhere around us. Second of all, like you said, um
It's us.
it's us. It's us, yes. And it's also it's not just like leaning back in my chair on the beach and just thinking everything will happen for me. But it's also about me having to do the steps and the work,
Yeah.
right?
Take the series and the movies that we've grown up watching because we've always been witches since we were really little, charmed. They had to literally, wait a second, we've got to make a potion and say some words for the demon to be banished. And hence
Yes.
you need to freaking do something about it, right?
Yeah.
We're
Yeah, for sure.
yeah.
Yeah. I feel like I have my mind is getting calm. That needs to be shared.
No, plus you just froze, so I'm just gonna assume that you said that you're feeling like we're wrapping up and you're asking if I have anything else to share. So I'm gonna say no. And just thank everybody for joining us and send much love.
Yeah, for sure. Am I still frozen or am I back?
Well, you're back. You've been back since I actually started talking, and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna butt in here.
Well, it's a tough topic that we talked about. I feel like there might be a few glitches in this recording, but we're going to upload it anyway because it's important topics that we talk about, and sometimes it's like what? It freezes when we talk about those themes. I want to say thank you for what was that?
To say, isn't that really curious? Like whenever, even in our private conversations, we have glitches on the phone when we're about to speak like a massive truth. I feel like the energy gets so heightened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's like yeah, anyway, I want to say thank you for everyone for tuning in because I think these are really, really important topics to talk about and bring to the light. As you know, everything that is in the darkness we're scared of when we once we bring it to the light, it's actually we can look at it, understand it, feel it, and make it our own or realize that we are it. So I want to say thank you for everyone, and I'm really, really curious to hear what does magic mean to you because I think if we're all putting down our own definition of it, we get a really like varied understanding, and I think that's super invited. So please subscribe, like, comment your definition of it, and please come back next week and have a lovely day. Thank you.